so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring this brand new palette by Tom Ford. If you didn't see the video I posted last night, I swatched all 3 palettes. I picked all 3 up and compared them side by side. I changed my mind about which one I wanted to try because the one I was considering looked really high maintenance after I swatched it, but I will definitely be using all of the palettes very soon. But let's go ahead and get started. Starting with the by Terry CC Serum, the Brightening CC Serum in Apricot Glow. My skin is a little bit dry yesterday and today actually. So we're gonna go in with the Chanel No. 1, really lightweight on the skin. Yeah, even though I have combo skin, I like to have options. Sometimes my skin does feel dry, like when it's windier outside, it'll dry my skin out. So I like having things for my combo skin, as well as when it gets a little bit, like I said, drier. Now this works really well with this foundation by Chanel. The Ultra Le Temps works really well with this. Actually, I don't think I've posted this video yet. So you'll see this in action. Yeah, actually this video is bumping the video that features this foundation. So you'll see that soon. This foundation definitely works really well on drier skin. Yeah, usually I have a series of serums as well as moisturizer. This time I just went in with moisturizer, the Chantecaille Biolifting Plus, and that's it. So it's not as hydrated as it normally is, which is why I think it's working better on my skin this way. Okay, SISLEY concealer. La Prairie concealer as normal. Chantecaille Next Generation Eye Base. Just going with the by Terry palette. I'm taking the Peach Tone Powder, this one, and I'm going to go in the center of my face. I'm going to take the deeper powder, go on the exterior. This is a ROEN powder brush. It's called Everything Powder. Really great brush. Go in with these 2 lighter shades right in the front. Chantecaille's Perfect Blur Powder. Eyebrows, I'm going to take the Gucci pencil and the ROEN pencil. I'm going to fill in most of the brows with the Gucci pencil and then go in the front and the tail end with the ROEN. Then I'm using this ROEN pencil for more detailed work. And then on the tail end as well. And then I go in with the Diorshow Pump and Brow. Then I'm just going to bronze really quickly with these Chanel bronzers. It's the Healthy Glow Bronzing Creams. This is the lid. Taking both shades though, and I just take the brush and go between both of them and kind of mix. I actually took a break for a couple hours here. I uploaded the footage and was editing it, and then the products came in and I just watched them, edited that video and posted it. So actually it's gonna go live here in just a few minutes. But after I swatched them, I changed my mind about which one I wanted to go in with. At first I was going to go in with Smoky Quartz, but this one really caught my eye. This one, Rose Topaz. Yeah, Rose Topaz. I really liked the very neutral tones in here. The matte one looks like it might be challenging to work with. I'm not sure yet. It's a little bit late now though, and I feel like that might take a little bit of time to work with. This one looked a little bit easier to work with, so we're gonna go with this first, and then when I have a little bit more time, we'll do the matte one. If I have to fix anything there, it's gonna take a little bit of time. So let's go in with this lovely shade here first, this lightest shade all over the lid. I have a pretty dense brush here just to get that on the lid. And I always have creasing even though I put down the eye base. Ooh, it's very creamy going on. So I will watch, I mean, it's late, so I don't know how much longer I'll have this on, but I'm really interested in the crease resistant aspect of this. I know some of you who say you have more texture on your eyes really want to see how this works, if this will be a solution for you. So I do get creasing here myself. I don't have that much texture on my eyelids, but I'll be able to tell you if it does gather in that area. Now let's go ahead and take this other shade, this deepest shade here. I'm gonna go in the exterior. I'm gonna take this brush by Chantecaille just to kind of place it on there because I don't know how the blending will go with this. I'm going to take my new ROEN brush. I think that might work really well here. Actually, that did a really beautiful job of blending this in. I love this brush anyway, but I've only used it with the ROEN palettes so far, but it works really well with this formula. I think the brushes probably need to be a little bit more specific for something like this. Like I'm gonna go in with just a regular brush here and see how that works. I suspect it won't go as well, but let's see. It might. So I'm taking this like dusty rose shade that's really beautiful and going above the crease with this brush. Okay, this works fine for this lighter shade. I just think for the deeper shade, just to get it really even, it might make sense to go in with more of a dense brush like this if you want more control. Because it does blend quite nicely. Like, ooh, that's a lot there. Didn't mean to put that much, but now let's work with it. Let's see what happens. Oh, this would be a really beautiful like smoky eye if I laid this down as the base and put on the shimmery shades on top, which this might end up being if I can't do something with this right now. So right off the bat, that's one thing I'm going to say is that these might take some practice because these go on pretty densely and immediately. So if you're not careful or paying attention like me, I just was not paying attention, you might end up with more than you intend. But you can see it's a really even kind of application. It's just more than I really wanted to put on there. I'm just gonna see if I can remove some of that. Yeah, I think this would be really pretty. Kind of like I used the Byredo. Ooh, there's a little bit of a Byredo vibe with this actually now that I think about it in terms of the texture. But I can see how this probably won't crease because it's meshing really nicely with the skin, but it's also taking a little bit more work than say another, just a plain powder, but it might have some really nice staying power. I think maybe there's a learning curve with this as well, but it looks really pretty. So I'm gonna take the same shade, that deepest shade, and I love this brush. Again, it's the ROEN brush. It's called the Everything Eye Brush. I'm gonna go underneath. Oh yeah, you can see how intense that can get. Beautiful though. It is definitely like a cool neutral palette. I'm gonna use this as an eyeliner. I'm gonna go above as well. I just wanna see what else you are interested in so I know what order to film these in. But like I said, I kind of surprised myself with which one I chose to go with first. I just was looking for something super, super neutral. The other ones pull a little bit warm. Lovely as an eyeliner. So I know some of you can't use eyeliners. This serves as a really beautiful liner. You can see right there how intense it is. I'm liking this formula myself, but like I said, it's not, I'm not gonna say it's the easiest palette I've played with here because I'm having to do some correcting rather than just building slowly because I need a little bit more experience with this formula. So I think less is more at first with this and practice. Oh, sorry, I just went in with a little bit of that dusty rose shade and I'm blending this a little bit more. Really pretty though. I think that's beautiful. Okay, let's go in with this shimmery shade. It is the most metallic of any of the palettes. But you can see there's a bit of powder here though. There is a bit of powder coming up. And I'm not seeing any creasing in that area where I typically get just a little bit of creasing, at least right now. Just gonna add some mascara, eyeliner. I'll be right back. I went in with the Eye Kajal in Black by Chantecaille, just tightlined with that. Went in the waterline with the Jasper by Chantecaille and then added mascara. That's it. So I am loving this combination of these two blushes. So I'm gonna go in with this first, PECHE COSMIQUE by Chanel, limited edition. You get that beautiful glow. Then I'm going to go in with the Coral. It does have a lot of pink in it, this one. Quite vibrant, isn't it? Okay, I didn't think I really meant to go that vibrant. Let's see, what can I do to tone this down just slightly? Oh, maybe I'll go in with this one again on top. Okay, I'm gonna still tone it down just a little bit with Perfect Blur powder. And then I love this kind of simple look, so I'm gonna go in with this. This is the Chanel No. 1. It's the Cheek and Lip Balm, Lively Rosewood. Okay, and I thought we could go in with one of the fragrances that I recently received from Chantecaille. It's the Fragrance Discovery Collection, and this look makes me think of Derby Rose, and I'm not a rose person, but this is a really beautiful one. So it says, and I love how there are the notes here because sometimes it's just an extra effort to go find them. So the top notes are raspberry, cassis, Italian lemon. Mid notes are a Bulgarian rose, sweet osmanthus, pink magnolia, and the dry down is sandalwood, patchouli, and ambrit seeds. And this one, the patchouli on this, let me just smell this again if I recall this correctly. The patchouli in this one just grounds it, but you can't really sense the patchouli because patchouli is not my favorite scent. But it does give it more of a fullness rather than being a note that sticks out by itself. Yeah, very sophisticated, very clean rose scent. It smells very much like a rose flower rather than a rose fragrance. They really captured that element of smelling an actual rose. There's something green in there. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And it's not overwhelming in any way. I know that some rose fragrances are just too much. There's too much of a sweetness to them, but this one doesn't have that. Yeah, it doesn't have that sweet element, which I don't like. I don't like sweet scents or heavy scents. I like them to be light and clean and airy. And this, somehow they got that with this rose fragrance, Derby Rose. Okay, first of all, my skin must be really dry because this foundation is doing really well on my skin today. Not anything like that initial try that I had where it was a little bit too dewy, but it really looks quite beautiful today. So those with dry complexions, you might really, really like this because it's behaving quite well on my skin right now. Let's talk about this palette, the one in Rose Topaz. The reason I chose this one is because it didn't look like it was grabbing like the first one. I was initially really wanting to try the matte one. Let me see, where did it go? Of course, now I can't find it. Where is it? I had all of them right here. I found it. Yeah, originally I wanted to try this one, but after I swatched it, I realized these really did grab the skin, and I feel like maybe this might take a little bit more work. So I decided to go with something else first because it's late now. I haven't even had dinner yet, but it is quite late. Didn't want to take any extra time to fix something if I needed to. Maybe it will be fine, I don't know, but just based on the swatches, I thought that one might be a little bit high maintenance. So I went with something that I thought might just look really pretty, and this one does look really pretty. got all of them on my hand right now. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful palette. I love the shades in here. It's very neutral. I thought that maybe this shade could have been just a little bit deeper because there isn't really a crease shade in here. I think it's missing that. So either a deeper shade, or I would have liked to see something like taupe, I think in there would have been really beautiful. This color is pretty, but I don't know. I feel like maybe there needed to be 5 colors, something. There needed to be something else in here. I know they don't do quints, but I'm just saying that that's what the one thing I thought, okay, it would be nice to have like a true crease color in here. Although if you use it like the Byredo palette, which it was like all grays and blacks, had no crease color, I think this might be really stunning. And that's what makes me think of it, is because this color is the one that grabbed the skin. Like I think those matte ones will just grab. I think that might be really beautiful to set that down as a base and go on top and do kind of like an ombre look with that, where you put this shimmery on top and then you just kind of go from deepest to lightest as you go out. I think that would be really beautiful. I think using it this way was pretty. It just took some time though. I think this is gonna take a little practice if you want to use it with a bit more finesse and you want to be a little bit more light-handed with it. For a more traditional eye, like something like this, I think is beautiful, but you saw what happened. I was not anticipating how much I had on my brush. Yes, that brush does pick up a lot of pigment, but I also wanted something that was gonna work well with the formula because it is creamier and I wasn't sure that a regular brush would do the job. So that's why I went with that brush. So I think it really did blend it quite nicely. I would just go in light-handedly. Right now I'm looking, I'm not seeing creasing. So it does cling to the skin and I think that's probably why you won't see creasing, and it does have a very skin-like appearance to it. It's very close to the skin. Nothing powdery about it. Maybe not for the novice. If you are a beginner with makeup, I wouldn't recommend this palette because it's not the easiest palette to work with, but I do like the results. And I will use this because I think it's such a pretty neutral and I like how it turned out. I think it looks really beautiful. I loved how this was a really lovely liner. So if that tells you anything about the consistency of this, you saw how easily this worked as a liner. So that's how careful you need to be with this if you're gonna put it in the crease like I did. But like I said, maybe building it up in layers is the best way to use this palette. So I'm gonna have to play around with this. I think the way they showed it online was that way. So they had this as the base and there was this like almost over the entire lid. I think that might be really beautiful. But overall, I was pleased with it. I like it. I'm a little bit intimidated by this all matte one though, I have to admit. A bit intimidated by this one because I'm not sure how this one's gonna go. The other one looks really beautiful. I'm interested in all those different shimmers in there because one looks like it almost has a couple of shades in there. I will be playing with all of these though, so make sure you are subscribed and that you have your notification bell on because as you saw, last night I posted at a really random time the swatching video of this because I paid for overnight shipping. And as you know, when I pay for overnight shipping, I'm swatching and posting right away. Let me know what you think of this, if it's something you're interested in. Again, I will watch for the creasing, but I can see already that because these cling to the skin, I don't think I'm going to get much creasing, but again, I'll watch. And then just make sure that when you pick up that really dark color, I know I said on the swatch, there's no fallout because it's not powdery, but if you do pick up too much, you still get an excess. It's not like it's gonna fall out like powder does, but it will drop. Because I did see when I swatched it with my finger, I did have some excess on there that could end up on your face if you're not careful. So yeah, a little bit more maintenance on this one for sure, but a lovely result. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.